they secure a spot on the Mount Rushmore of MMA guys with all the guys and all the great fighters we've seen? Who wins this fight? Will they bring that in your?
Yeah, it's hard. When people ask me the Mount Rushmore, I always think about the older guys, because when you think about the Mount Rushmore, I mean, it's guys from 100 years ago or more, and but their place. Listen, Saturday night, and I said this before this week, and I'll say it again. I heard you get some of the goofballs out there that want to try to debate it. There is no debate. The winner of this fight is the greatest heavyweight ever in mixed martial arts, period. So yeah, these guys are going to end up on some Mount Rushmore somewhere. Two future Hall of Famers, two of the best to ever do it.
I have to focus on my trainings more. For me, it means that I cannot just think that, okay, it's gonna be easy fight. No, for me, it means a lot of responsibility, and to do everything that I have to do in the fight to win the fight. It's first of all, and show my how I mentioned before, my spirit, because I think in the fight it's the most important, and definitely to prepare for the fight with no injuries. This is the most important for me, and right now I focus so much on to start my training with no injuries, not repeat the same injury, and to protect my legs and to protect them from unwanted force that could be during the training camp. This is for me what very important, and I know exactly if I will do and follow all this plan, I will do good. This is I know for sure, because I'm not worried about mental part, because my team gonna help me a lot. Physical part the same, and it's not only my training camp, it's not just about myself, it's how my team do and put their energy for me, and I would appreciate it forever, because it's for me, definitely all this success what I'm having right now, it's my team, my coach, my family, my sister, all people who are surrounding me, and this is the most important to in his eyes, not to disappoint them. This is what is my thoughts about my preparation and my fighting.
Obviously, this one is near and dear to your heart. I'll just say this, one of my favorite fights of all time, one of my favorite cards of all time, top to bottom. That was an amazing night in Oakland, California. But I'm dying to ask you, 10 years later, how do you feel about that fight?
I have never rewatched that fight, but I got to tell you, Ariel, I have such fond memories of that entire experience. And I don't know if there has ever been a competitive time in my life where I lost and still came away with a positive thought. I mean, I wanted to win. I've got those negative thoughts too, but everything was very exciting for me. This was my first main event. I got a championship match. The arena was sold out. Some of the buildup was fun. It's a very scary opponent. A lot of times you walk into a match, okay, it's a competition, but you're not always scared. And I must tell you, that emotion of fear is just one that you don't forget. Getting locked in a cage with Anderson Silva is a very daunting task. And I just came in with a lot of positive thoughts. Plus, the fight was well received. I think we got fight of the night that night, and we're a candidate for fight of the year. There was some real positivity. I don't know that I've ever had a pat on the back for failing. This was kind of the one, though, that I didn't get what I wanted, and people were still saying good job. So maybe there's a little bit of nostalgia there, but I am stunned at this. I'm stunned that was 10 years ago. Errol, that feels like it was this afternoon. I remember it perfectly clearly. I remember the sounds, the smells. I remember everything about that fight. That's why I've never rewatched it. I don't need to. I remember it.
Really? No interest now that you know it's 10 years ago? No interest in just kind of sitting down and reliving it?
I will tell you, I've never rewatched my matches, win or lose, and I think it's a flaw. I think I would have been better as a competitor if I could go back and study and kind of break those down. I've even tried before. Errol, my hands get sweaty. I get more nervous, and even when I'm in there, even if I know the outcome, which I always know the outcome, I can't rewatch them. And that one was no different.
Could I ask you, do you remember what you were thinking going into the 5th? Because I remember Mike Goldberg, and I've watched it obviously many times after, saying like, this could be it. This is the fight. Everyone knew you were winning that fight. It was very easy to score, right? Do you remember what you were thinking? Like, do you remember telling yourself, I'm 5 minutes away? Do you remember anything going on in between rounds going into the 5th?
So my corner had told me we were going into the 4th. And I'd been scheduled for 5 rounds before, but I never win them. I never been in the 5-round club. So this is the deepest I've ever been. I only bring that up because there is a fatigue and there is an exhaustion. You know, you're really operating just on training. You're not very clear in the moment. So they told me it was the 4th, but that entire fight I had the same thought, which is get him down. And I was very confident that if I get him down, he will not get up. I was telling myself that whole training camp, I am 5 takedowns away from being the world champion. And I remember being so nervous. Closing the distance on Anderson is it's a very scary proposition, even if you've done it for 20 minutes. And I remember I threw a punch, and whether he slipped but he went down. And I remember jumping on top of him and thinking he's not getting up for the rest of this round.
Wait a second. Going into the 5th, they told you it was the 4th?
They told me it was the 4th round, and they got very upset. They got very upset at me for saying that publicly. They thought I was throwing them under the bus. And it's like, no, guys, you said it, and ESPN played it on SportsCenter. I'm not throwing you under the bus. You told me it was the 4th round. I'm not even using it as an excuse. That's just what happened.
Wow, I don't remember that little anecdote. What I do remember is there was a rule. A lot of people didn't know about this, but there was a rule that if you slightly tapped your opponent, that just meant that someone else could come in. Like pro wrestling, it was like a tag match.
That's what I thought.
No one told you.
Okay, here's what I thought, Errol. If you tapped out, it signified the conclusion of the round. Like, you for sure lose that round. It's a 10-9 must system. It's going 10 that guy, 9 for this one. I had won 4 rounds. I tap out. I throw him around. You know, people throw rounds away all the time. I throw him around. All of a sudden, the contest in its entirety is over. They raise his hand. You tell me you weren't surprised as I was.
I was shocked. I thought, okay, he gave him rounds 4-1. We're good.
4-1.
Yeah, you should be champ, in my opinion.